Originally titled Schindler's Ark, Schindler's List is a historical novel written by Australian author Thomas Keneally in 1982. It recounts the remarkable tale of Oskar Schindler, a Nazi party member who utilized his position as a German industrialist to rescue over 1,200 individuals during World War II. Despite risking his own internment in a concentration camp, Schindler defied the genocidal Nazi regime to safeguard as many lives as possible. Collaborating with Poldek Pfefferberg, one of the beneficiaries of Schindler's actions, Keneally drew upon the accounts of survivors and archival material to craft the narrative. While rooted in factual events, Keneally infused the story with dramatizations to bridge historical gaps, including narratives of survivors from Płaszów and the Cracow Jewish ghetto Podgórze. Schindler's List delves into profound themes such as pragmatic good versus absolute evil, complicity and guilt, and the horrors of the Holocaust. The novel received critical acclaim, winning the 1982 Booker Prize and the 1983 LA Times Prize for Fiction. Steven Spielberg adapted the book into a monumental historical drama film in 1993, which propelled Schindler's story into the global consciousness. Subsequently, the novel was retroactively renamed to align with the film's title, ensuring instant recognition among its audience. Born into a Sudetendeutsche family, Oskar Schindler grew up in regions that became part of Czechoslovakia after World War I. In 1936, at the age of 28, he joined the Abwehr, Nazi Germany's intelligence agency, and was dispatched to Cracow, now Cracow, Poland, to gather intelligence on the city's resources. With the outbreak of World War II and the subsequent invasion of Poland by Germany in 1939, Schindler aligned himself with the Nazi Party, transforming into a war profiteer. Utilizing his political connections, he acquired an abandoned enamel factory called Record in Cracow, renaming it Deutsche Emelwarenfabrik, F, later affectionately known as Amalia by its workers. Prior to the invasion, Record was owned by Jewish individuals, but the occupation laws forbade Jews from owning businesses, leading to its bankruptcy under German control. The German government bestows awards upon Schindler, recognizing him as a loyal member of the Nazi Party and a diligent spy. Consequently, he secures lucrative wartime contracts for the production of enamelware, mess kits, and limited quantities of ammunition. Initially, Schindler employs only a handful of Jewish individuals, including Abraham Bankier, the former office manager of Record, and Itzhak Stern, an accountant who later becomes Schindler's personal financial advisor and close confidant. However, the treatment of Jewish people takes a sinister turn under the oppressive Nazi regime. The Nazis initiate Aktion, sudden and violent raids on Jewish neighborhoods, aimed at instilling fear, exerting control, and plundering resources. Recognizing Schindler's growing empathy towards the suffering of Cracow's Jewish community, Stern begins to urge him to leverage his position to aid others. As the Nazis force Cracow's Jewish population into the Podgórze ghetto, Schindler harnesses his extensive network of political connections to expand employment opportunities for Jewish workers in his factory. Simultaneously, he navigates through the treacherous waters of Nazi bureaucracy to identify sympathetic figures within the regime. From 1941 to 1942, the conditions within the ghetto deteriorate rapidly as Nazi atrocities escalate, pitting Jewish residents against each other. With the liquidation of the ghetto and the relocation of its inhabitants to Płaszów labor camp, overseen by the ruthless SS Kommende Amon Goth, Schindler's concerns for the safety of his workers intensify. Increasing violence prompts Schindler to resort to bribery to ensure the safe passage of his employees to and from the ghetto. In 1941, Schindler faces arrest for the first time when suspicions arise within the Nazi hierarchy regarding his sympathies towards Jewish individuals. Though narrowly escaping imprisonment in a concentration camp for treason, Schindler builds a clandestine network of allies, including an Austrian dentist named Sedlacek and a Zionist rescue organization based in Budapest. He clandestinely channels funds from the organization into Cracow, distributing them among Jewish contacts to provide assistance and relief, albeit much of it ultimately supporting resistance efforts. The liquidation of the ghetto and the establishment of the Płaszów labor camp subject Cracow's entire Jewish population to the tyrannical rule of Amon Goth. Goethe inflicts terror upon his captives daily, orchestrating public executions for the most trivial offenses and fostering discord among the prisoners. Despite his disdain for Goethe, Schindler finds himself compelled to lavish him with bribes and feign camaraderie to safeguard both his workers and fellow inmates. Witnessing the horrors of the ghetto's liquidation and hearing first-hand accounts of life within Plaszow from his Jewish associates further fuels Schindler's antipathy towards the Nazi regime. As tensions escalate within Plaszow and the specter of deportation to Auschwitz and other death camps looms large, Schindler exhausts a significant portion of his wealth to ensure the protection of his workforce. In response to Goethe's brutal reign and the grim conditions prevailing in Plaszow, Schindler devises a subcamp within DEF. Under the guise of manufacturing clandestine weapon components for the German military, Schindler persuades Goethe to sanction the establishment of the DF camp. Within the confines of DF, Schindler shields his employees from SS interference, steadfastly refusing to allow the guards to intrude upon or mistreat them. With the majority of DF's workforce comprised of Jewish individuals, leasing their labor from the SS exacts a heavy toll on Schindler's finances. He delves into the black market, appeasing SS officials and bureaucrats with rare commodities to keep them at bay. By 1944, as Germany's fortunes wane and the Soviet advance gains momentum, Goethe's paranoia regarding potential uprisings in Plaszow intensifies, leading to heightened brutality and unpredictability. The Nazi administration converts Plaszow into a concentration camp, imposing a veneer of formality on executions while maintaining the constant threat of gas chamber dispatches. As industry ceases within the camp, the German authorities mandate the closure of DEF and the transfer of its inmates back to the main facility. Jewish individuals are barred from employment throughout Cracow. With Stern's assistance, Schindler meticulously compiles a list comprising approximately 1,200 indispensable workers from Plaszow vital to DEF's operations. Refusing to surrender in the face of adversity, Schindler relocates his factory to Moravia in Brinnlitz, utilizing the meticulously compiled list to justify the transfer of individuals as essential skilled workers crucial to the war effort. Sacrificing the last remnants of his wealth, Schindler orchestrates the extraction of these individuals from Plaszow and orchestrates their resettlement in the new facility. While successfully relocating approximately 800 men from the list, Schindler encounters deliberate obstruction from the SS, who send the women to Auschwitz and subject them to torment. Undeterred, Schindler rescues these women and nurtures them back to health. Utilizing his network of contacts and engaging in clandestine dealings on the black market, Schindler endeavors to ensure the safety of his charges at Brinnlitz amidst the advancing Russian forces. Fearing the worst, he arms the Jewish inhabitants of his camp in anticipation of potential conflict. As the war draws to a close on May 8th, Schindler flees to evade potential execution by the advancing Russian forces, accompanied by a small group of individuals. Discovered by American forces, Schindler recounts his harrowing tale, supported by a letter penned by the Jewish survivors of his camp, leading to their safe passage. Following the war, the Brinnlitz prisoners gradually disperse across the globe, with many seeking refuge in America or the future state of Israel. Despite facing post-war harassment in Germany for his perceived betrayal of the Nazi ideology, Schindler provides crucial testimony to aid in the prosecution of war criminals. Despite his efforts, Schindler lives out his days in relative anonymity, relying on the support of his Jewish friends and the Israeli government. Recognized by the Israeli government as righteous among the nations, an accolade bestowed upon non-Jews who risked their lives to save Jewish individuals during the Holocaust, Schindler's subsequent business ventures flounder, leaving him dependent on the goodwill of others. He passes away from liver failure at the age of 66 in 1974, leaving behind a legacy of heroism and compassion. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did, and be sure to subscribe. Thank you.